Hey friends, so in an attempt to figure out what I'm doing with my YouTube channel, I decided that I'm going to read some stories for a little while until I get bored with it or decide to just give up entirely. So I'm going to be reading from the complete fairy tales of the Brothers Grimm. And just be warned ahead of time, these are not little kid stories, they're not cute stories, they're incredibly dark, practically horror tales in their own right. So just be warned, this is my content warning. It does involve death and darkness and very serious topics. So if that is not your jam for stories, I suggest you move along and find something cheerier to watch. So the first story we're going to read is called The Stolen Pennies. One day, a father was sitting with his wife and children, and they were having their noonday meal. A good friend who had come to visit was also eating with them. As they were sitting there, the clock struck 12, and the visitor saw the door open and a little child enter. He was very pale and clad in snow-white clothes. He neither looked around nor said anything, but went straight into the next room. Soon he returned and went out the door just as quietly as he had entered. On the second and third day, the child came and went in the exact same way. Finally, the visitor asked the father who the beautiful child was that went into the room every day at noon. "I didn't see it," he answered, "and I have no idea at all whose child it might be." On the next day, when the child came again, the visitor pointed it out to the father, but he did not see it. Neither did the mother and the children. Then the visitor stood up, went to the door of the room, opened it a little, and looked inside. There he saw the child sitting on the floor, busily digging and rummaging in the cracks of the boards. However, as soon as the child noticed the visitor, he disappeared. Now, the visitor told the family what he had seen and gave an exact description of the child. The mother was then able to recognize the child and said, "Alas, it's my own dear child who died 4 weeks ago." They ripped up the boards of the floor and found 2 pennies that the child had received from his mother at one time to give to a poor man. But the child had thought, "You can buy yourself a biscuit for that." He had kept the pennies and had hidden them in the cracks of the floor. However, he had not been able to rest in his grave and had come back every day at noon to look for the pennies. So the parents gave the money to a poor man, and after that the child was never seen again. The end. Like I said, pretty dark story. Alright friends, let me know what you think, and for now it is time for next adventure. I'll miss you. Cheers.